So this is going to be a new style of video that I'm thinking of putting out more regularly here on my channel, depending on whether or not you guys find these useful. So definitely let me know in the comments below if you like what we do in today's video and you want to see more of them. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to go through my most recent comments on YouTube. I'm not quite sure how many we'll get through, but it's going to be just my thoughts and opinions on some of the questions that you guys have asked me, because sometimes I find my comments via text, it doesn't really explain as well as a video could do. So we'll be short to the point today. I'll go through answering some of the questions that you guys have asked. And then if you want to see, like for example, if somebody asks a question in a comment and I give an answer in today's video, because it's going to be quite a short explanation from my side, if you want to see a more in-depth video on that topic, definitely let me know in the comments below and I can look to make a video on that over the next couple of weeks. Because again, these will be short explanations today. Starting from the top, Riaz, I think that's how you pronounce your name. Thank you firstly for leaving a comment, and secondly, really happy to see that you're enjoying the videos. I am putting a lot of effort into them, and every comment that I get on my video, I love reading them. So thank you so much for taking the time to leave a comment, and I'm glad you are enjoying the content. So Riaz asks, I was wondering if OxyProps is part of your stack, if you have abandoned Tailwind in favor of OxyProps. I'll tell you what, having not been in the WordPress ecosystem for a few years, coming into it, I guess I started like maybe January or February this year. It's probably the most controversial topic that I had no idea was a thing before I started posting YouTube videos on WordPress. I can only share based on my experience using OxyProps and Tailwind. They're the only two that I've used. The following thoughts. I have used Tailwind to build a couple of landing pages, one of which I put a video out on my channel. You can go back and watch that, where I used Tailwind inside of Bricks Builder. And that was basically, I'd never used a framework before. I didn't even know how Tailwind worked. And I pretty much learned it over a couple of days and then made that video to see how it would all work inside of Bricks Builder. And then OxyProps, I had never used a framework like that, which is basically, it's a CSS framework that relies on custom CSS properties that you plug in to your website. So two completely different ways of approaching designing your website. And I already owned OxyProps. I'd bought it because it was on a lifetime deal. And I was watching a video where basically somebody was building a website. I think it might have been Cedric, who owns OxyProps, the founder. I think I was watching maybe one of his videos and he was building a website, and then he clicked on something and just, for example, went to like style and then layout, and then here for a max width, he just right clicked and then this thing popped up, and then he was like, okay, yeah, I'll set that to that width there. Or maybe I want to set it to this width there, like that. And I was like, oh, what's that window? So I was like, okay, I need to see how that works. Went to the OxyProps website, lifetime deal, and I wanted to get more into understanding CSS frameworks, and I bought that one. And because I had tried to learn Tailwind inside of Bricks Builder and made that a couple of videos on that, or played around with it, the next thing was I needed to rebuild my Wage Pirate website. I owned OxyProps. I wanted to see how that would work using custom properties. And so I basically just went and built it using it. I didn't think that OxyProps was going to be better over Tailwind inside of Bricks Builder because I had no idea how OxyProps worked. So through rebuilding my website using OxyProps and having experience using Tailwind inside of Bricks Builder, I really enjoy how OxyProps works. So I want to give you an example of a very basic example of comparing Tailwind inside of Bricks Builder versus OxyProps inside of Bricks Builder, just to give you an idea of how those two ways that you use those CSS frameworks inside of Bricks Builder work, and ultimately why this should show you why I do prefer OxyProps. So let's go ahead and let's create a new page. So I'll get out of this, so leave that. Let's go ahead and create a new page. So new page, and we might rebuild that home area. So home page, new. So we go publish. This is a staging website, so we can do whatever we want in it. And then we'll go edit with bricks. So in here, let's go ahead and show you the Tailwind approach. Let's go up here and add a heading, and then let's add some basic text. and we might add a video, or let's add an image. We'll add an image like that and add that there. Okay, so they're all in there. So I might go ahead and just quickly select the image, and let's just select this one here and go insert. So if you were to go out and style this using Tailwind, you would have to do the following. And I'm going to save this because we'll probably undo the changes that we're about to do. But let's just say we wanted to center this text using Tailwind and make this heading a little bit larger. And maybe we want to make this text black. So we would have to come up to here, and because Tailwind does everything by applying CSS classes, we'd have to go, I think it's like text black, and then we'd have to exit out of this and go text center, enter, and then exit out of this. And then for this one here, we'd have to go text black and then exit out of this, text center, and so on. So already it's pretty annoying to have to go and do that here. And imagine doing that across your entire website, especially for multiple clients' websites. I just don't think it works very well inside of a page builder. Now, there are some things that make this a little bit easier, one of which is Swiss knife for bricks, which I don't think it's been released publicly, but I bought it. It was like a private launch to their email list and in their community. And I'll show you some of the things that can do to make this a little bit easier. So let's just save this, and I'll go ahead to the admin area. And then here under plugins, I'm going to go down to Swiss knife for bricks and go activate. If this is available to the public now, I will link to it in the description below of today's video if you want to go check it out. So now with that activated, we have Swiss knife for bricks here. So let's click on here to go to manage settings. So with Swiss knife for bricks activated, God, that is a tongue twister. It does a couple of things. I'm not going to go through what these are, but the main ones that I want to pay attention to are these two here: enable multi-select and plain classes. So I'll go save changes. And then I'm going to go back here and I'm going to reload the editor, and I'm going to expand this out. So the first thing that I'll look at is that first option here, multi-select. So if we go back here, what that means is, let's just say I have this heading here and this is a section. Let's go ahead and just duplicate this section. So now we have two sections. So let's say this heading here and this heading here, I'm using Tailwind, and I want to change their styling to be the same. What I can do using Swiss knife for bricks is I can multi-select elements. So I can select more than one element and then apply classes. So for example, I could select this heading here, or I could hold shift and select. Now it's orange. And then I could hold shift and select here. So now I'm editing two different heading elements. And then over here, I can apply my CSS classes inside a Bricks Builder from the one text field. So I could go, so here I could write text black to make the font black, and then I could go text center. I could do a margin top of 4, and then I think it's max width of 4XL. That could be wrong, but you get the idea. So using Swiss knife for bricks, I can select multiple elements, write my CSS classes on one line, and you can see they're adding them like a normal CSS class inside a Bricks Builder down the bottom here. So every time I do that, you can see they're updating there. So now I've added in this one box these CSS classes, but they're applied to both those elements. So if I click in here, you can see they're there. And then here, they're there as well. Now, if I want to update them, I can hold my shift key, click there, and then back in here. Maybe I actually want to go text left, like that. So now this is text left. And if I click back in there, that's text left as well. So in terms of Tailwind, one of the problems of using Tailwind inside a Bricks Builder is what I showed you before, where you'd normally have to go like text white, enter, and then click out of here, and then go text center, and then click out of there, and then click back into here and do the same thing. So being able to multi-select and then apply CSS classes to multiple elements in the one text box, it sort of does alleviate that problem. How much? I don't know, because I haven't had time to go in and try and build an entire website using this. My thoughts are it's still not going to be as good as using OxyProps or something like ACSS, which I think works similar to OxyProps and how it works. So yeah, I would say, coming back to the comment, yeah, I probably would say I'm not focusing on using Tailwind right now. I'm focusing more on how OxyProps applies things inside of Bricks Builder. Just because even with the solutions like this being able to do what I just showed you, I still don't think it's as clean of a solution for creating a website in a page builder like Bricks as OxyProps is. So I'll show you how OxyProps works. So let's go ahead and I'll just delete that. And before we go ahead, I would say there's still benefits to using Swiss Knife for Bricks even if you're not using Tailwind, because being able to multi-select things and then apply CSS classes, that's valuable. Whether or not, I think it was like $80 or something like that, whether or not it's $80 worth valuable to you, it's really going to depend on your workflow. Also, it's another plugin that you're going to have inside of Bricks Builder, something to keep in mind. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back and just deactivate that. So I'll just deactivate Swiss Knife for Bricks. And now I want to go through how I would rebuild the hero section on my homepage using OxyProps. So we're going to go ahead and rebuild this. So we have this bubble up here, heading, a little bit of text there, a lead in, and then this video here. So we're just going to quickly rebuild that, but you'll get an idea of the differences in building a website using Tailwind CSS classes versus OxyProps, which is global CSS classes and assigning custom CSS properties, which is what I'm going to show you right now. So coming back into here, let's go ahead and rebuild that home section using OxyProps, which I have installed. Now, OxyProps, BricksProps is exactly the same plugin. OxyProps was for Oxygen Builder, and BricksProps is for Bricks Builder. It's the same plugin, but when you install it, it checks to see what page builder you're using, and then it renames the plugin based on the one that you're using. So if I say OxyProps, it really is BricksProps that you'd use with Bricks Builder. Hope that wasn't too confusing. Let's get into this. So let's just say I want to go ahead and make this have a blue background. So the way that I go ahead and do everything is start with a CSS class. So I'd go C and then hero. Now I've already used that. Now, because I've already gone ahead and built my website, C Hero is an existing class. So for this video, let's just say wage for Wage Pirate and then hero and enter. Now, in this class, we'll go to style and then background, and then let's give it a background color. Again, I'm moving very fast with this just to show you the workflow, not necessarily what everything means. So I'll right click here and I'm going to give this a surface to background color. Now it has that blue. Now we can also go up to here to light and dark, and you can see what that's going to look like. So the good thing about the surface to color, see our surface to in dark mode, it changes to this. And if I go back to there, surface 2 is there. So these surface colors here, they're the ones that are going to change, get lighter and darker for your dark mode. It's again, I don't want to go into the details there, but that's what I've done there. So now we have that blue color there. So now let's go ahead and center the text. So on this container, we could go wage hero, and then under here we could do like container, or we could do header, just something like that, wage hero header. And then under layout, under typography here, we'll go to text align center. And then back here under content, we want to make everything stretch the full width. Now we need to add this bubble here, so I will go ahead and add another basic text there, and I'll drag that above the heading, and I'll just call that bubble. Now let's also rename this, so we'll call this hero, and then this is going to be hero header, and then under here is the bubble. So let's go wage hero, and then we'll do header bubble like that. And then we'll go to style, and then we'll give it a background color. So here I'll go and give it, and then here I'll make that the surface 1 background color, which is like a white color. And then let's go ahead and change the text here. So business owners is what I have on my actual website. And for this bubble, we don't want it to stretch the full width. So with this class selected still, we're going to go to layout, and then for the max width, I'm going to right click to open up the OxyProps panel here, and we can do, and then here we can do say fit content, and then let's give it some padding. So I'll right click here and it's padding. I'm going to say, let's try 3, and we'll put it all the way around. So I think that's a bit too big on the top and bottom, so undo that, and I might scale that down to a 2. So that looks a bit better. Now we want to do rounded corners, so I'm going to go down to border and then down to here, and then I'm going to right click, and then radius, we'll do 4, and we'll put that all the way around. So if you haven't noticed, or maybe you have, is every time you right click, the options that OxyProps gives you to assign into that setting, it is contextual. So if I'm changing the border here So I click into here and this is border radius. When I right click, all these options here are to do with the border radius. If I go into background and right click, these are all colors. So it's really good. You're literally just creating CSS classes and then right clicking inside of these bricks builder fields to assign custom CSS properties. And that's basically how you build your website. It just makes a lot of sense to me. And it was very easy to build my website by doing this. So here back, we're still editing this class. Let's make the font weight bold. So I'll go to typography and then we'll go to font weight and we'll change that to 700 like that. And we might change its color as well. So right click on color and I'm going to give it my brand. Let's just do, what do we want to do? Maybe my accent color. Yeah, do accent color like that. And now let's just center this on the page. So we're going to click back onto here where we're editing the hero header class. And then under content, we can center align everything inside there. Now for this image, I think it's too large. So let's go ahead and give it a max width. So here I'll go wage and then hero underscore header and then image, enter. And then for this class, we'll go to style and then layout, and then under max width, I'll right click. And you can see you get a couple of options here for width. I'm not gonna go into them, but these ones here, say content 3, header 2, and stuff like that, they're based on the CH unit, which is the character unit. And that's gonna be the width of the current font and size is 0. Oh, 0. I think it's a 0. Yeah, it's a 0. So if I do 30 CH here, it's the width of 30 zeros going across the page. And same with content 2 and 3. So you could literally define that I want it 55 CH or 55 zeros width, or I usually just choose one of these. So for example, content 3, I'll apply that there. So if we were to save that and then preview that on the front end and go down, if I right click and inspect element here, and pull that across. So here on this image, you can see its max width is set to this variable O size content 3. And if we click on that to see what it is, so you can see that that is set to 60 CH. You can see header 1, 2, and 3, 20, 25, 35, like that. So that's really all we're doing there. So let's get out of that and go back to the builder and I'll move myself down. So this is starting to come together now. For this heading, we'd probably want to make that a H1 because it's right at the front. And here I'll just copy that and I'll paste that in there, create and manage your WordPress website. And then I'll get the text from here without needing to hire a developer. And I'll paste that in there. Now back on here, these classes are left over from where I went through the Tailwind example. So I'll just get rid of them. So it's stretching too far across the page. Let's give it a max width. So here I'd give it another CSS class. So I'd go wage hero, and this could be title. And this could be header title like that. And then under style and then max width, we could just right click and give it, say, what do we want? Maybe that looks good. So content 1. Now coming down to here, we probably want to make this a little bit larger. So I'd go wage hero, and this would be header, and you could just do description or something like that. And then here under typography, we could come down and make its font size, which is, where is it? God, here. You'd think I'd done this before. See, so you have subheading versions, fluid font sizes. So again, you get used to what all of these mean when you're going and building a website, but we'll just scale this up to something like, maybe something like that there. Now, we definitely want to have some spacing between here, so I'll click back on the image, and we could add a margin top here. So with this CSS class selected, we'll go to layout, and then we'll go margin top. So I right click again, and we can do fluid or we can do size. So fluid, this is going to be, again, if I do like 7, the gap here is size 7. It's that CSS variable. But as the page scales down, so mobile devices, it automatically gets smaller. So it's really up to you how you want to build your website. For my website, I did use the fluent sizes like this. So say I'd pick 3 there, but you can design in fixed sizes if you want. And then at smaller breakpoints, you could just choose another fixed size to make it a bit smaller. So here I'm going to say, let's just say 3. So that looks pretty good. Now for this image, I might give it rounded corners. So this is one question that I had when I was going out and building my website is, should I add the rounded corners to this CSS class here, or should I create its own separate utility class to do that, which is called rounded corners? So for example, here I could go down and go to border, border radius, right click there, and set it to round and go all the way around. Actually, probably just want to make it 3. Now these are rounded corners there. Or should I not do that and get out of that and go rounded and press enter. And then in this rounded class, go and do that there. So under border, I'd go up to here and go 4, apply that all the way around. And now anything that I want to make have rounded corners, I can just click on it and then apply this class here. To be honest, I was doing this. I think for rounded, it does make sense. It's just like a bit easier to do that. But then also, I think like as I started building my website, I just started to apply it here. And then eventually all the images on my website were rounded. So I stopped using it. So sometimes it's like a little bit of just trying to go and build your website and seeing what works. I found, at least my personal opinion. But I think that's a good example of going out and showing you how you create a CSS class to style an element. But then you can also go and create your own utility classes that are using custom properties from the OxyProps framework like that. So I think that was a good example to run through. What else can we do? So this one here, maybe we want to add a shadow here. So back on this class, we'll go to box shadow and we'll go 0, 0, maybe 100. And then for its color. And then for the color, we could try something like a light brand color like that. Maybe we scale this down to something like 20. So you can see that it's sort of glowing there. So if I save that, and we go back and we reload this page, you can see that it's sort of coming together. So one more thing that I want to show you how to do inside of OxyProps before we move into wrapping up this Tailwind versus OxyProps comparison. So let's go up to here and add another section. And then in here, I'm going to call this grid. And then inside this grid, we'll add a block element, and this will be our item. And then in here, let's go ahead and add a heading and maybe some basic text like that. Where'd our heading go? Okay, we didn't get a heading. Let's add our heading back in there. There it is there. And then maybe we'll add a button element as well. Okay, so now we have this. So let's go ahead, and this is going to be our grid item. So let's just say we have a couple of these. So I'm going to copy and paste this. So maybe we have that many there. So let's just say we wanted to put these into boxes and make them into cards and then put them into a grid. This is how you could do it using OxyProps. So here, this is going to be our container. So this is our grid or our parent grid, and this is our grid item underneath. So let's go ahead and create a new thing. So this could be, maybe these are website services. So I'll do website service, and then this can be an item. So I've created a new class, and then in here, let's go ahead and give it a background, and maybe its background is going to be a light blue like that. And then here under layout and padding, let's go ahead and give it, say 3 all the way around. So now it's got a bit of padding. And then we want to space these out. So in here, we could go back to content, and then under row gap, we could right click here and we could add some here. So let's just say we gave it 2 like that. And maybe we want to center the text. So we go style, and then here under typography, we're going to center the text. And then back here under content, we're going to make it stretch the full width so that it can be centered. And I'm happy with the button going across like that. And then lastly, let's give it rounded corners. So again, we could exit out of this and we could give it our rounded utility class, which would round the corners. But for this, I'm going to go here and I'm going to go style, and then I'm going to go down to border, and then under border, I'm going to add it here all the way around for this class, so locally. So now we only have one class on this item doing everything. So now let's go ahead and add this class to all the other ones. So website service item, I'll click into here, website. So there it is there, and enter. And now we have both of them there. And I would just do that for all the others. So website service, and so on. Now I'm not going to go ahead and do that just because I can do it a bit faster for this demonstration. I'm going to get rid of these like that. And then here with the newest version of Bricks Builder, and actually the rounded corner is not going around all the corners. I'll quickly go and do that. So here, border, and we want this all the way around. So now it's going all the way around. Cool. So now what we can do with the newest version of Bricks Builder, we have this delete and duplicate icon. So I can just duplicate like that. Okay, so now we have quite a few going down the page. Let's just say we wanted to make these into a grid. We could come back here onto the parent. We could create a utility class that we could just write grid, and then that could just be used across our entire website. But I'm going to actually make this specific to the services. So I'm going to write services, and on my real website, I have services grid added there. So we'll go wage services grid just to make it different from my actual website and go enter. And then for this grid, we can go to content and then here display, we'll set it to grid. And then we'll go columns. So let's make this, actually we'll make this 3 columns on desktop. And then as it goes down to here, we can keep that, or we can change it to 2 columns. And then as it gets down here, we're going to change this to 1 column. Then coming back to here, we want to add some gap. So I'm going to right click on gap and I'm going to set this as a fluid gap. So size fluid of 3. And then as it goes down, I'm pretty happy with that. But as it gets down here, I know that on the left, it's set to a gap of 2, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to go and change this gap and we're going to set it to 2 there. Because I just like to have my gaps on here be the same as down here. And then down here, that should be good. So now let's go ahead and save that. And then back here, let's reload the page. So now we can go down. So we have our gap there. And as we bring it in, it should all change like that. Okay, so it's looking nice and neat. And then if we ever want to go and change that, so let's just say back here and we're like, oh, you know what? I actually just want to make that 2 columns on a desktop. All we need to do in the future is come back, edit this page, click onto here, and then click to edit this class. And then where it has the columns 3, we can just right click and set that to 2. So that's how easy it is to go and just edit a class, apply the OxyProp stuff by right click and choosing from what's over there. It really is an easy system, and I do think it does work a lot better inside of Bricks Builder than Tailwind. And I hope what I showed you just in this short video today can illustrate that. God, I think I'm gonna have to separate that as its own separate video. I don't know, I'll see when I cut this up, but I hope that was useful. Let's jump back and look at the next comment here. So yeah, Riaz, I hope that gave you a better understanding of why I chose OxyProps for my website. It wasn't really because I thought it was better at the time, but after going and building it, I do feel like I will be using it over Tailwind for now. So coming down, do you have any videos on how to use BricsProps, which is OxyProps? And yeah, I hope that was a good intro, but definitely let me know if you guys have any specific questions about using BricsProps inside of your website. Let me know. I can make separate videos on that topic. Please make a video on the dark mode for your personal website. Yep, definitely want to do that. I did show you a little bit about that, but coming back here with OxyProps, it was really just OxyProps does it out of the box. So when I'm going and building this website, you have this toggle up here when you have OxyProps installed, and you can toggle to see how your website looks on dark mode and light mode. So for example here, see this there, that halo, maybe I don't like that there. Or if I go back here, let's just say I click back on here in this class, I go to style and I go down to this box shadow tab and I open this up and it's set to this brand color. So I know from using OxyProps that when you change light to dark mode, these ones down here, canvas, brand, accent, and links, they don't change their values between light and dark mode. So because I have this one here, if we hover, it's O brand 25. If I right click again, it's this one here. I know that this won't change between light and dark mode. The ones that do change between light and dark mode are these top 2 up here. So what I could do is I could go, I want to keep things simple. I might just select to make that a surface 4 color. So now if I just exit out of that, you can see it's a dark gray around the bubble. And if I go to night mode, you can see it goes to a lighter gray. And so it's just understanding how the framework works. Again, frameworks are there to speed up us doing things and keep things consistent as far as I've learned from using them. And it's just about learning how it works. The more time you spend using one, you'll just understand it. And building my website, I got to know that from going in and using the colors, how the framework works. If I go back into here, these ones change their color, these ones don't. It's just literally how it's coded to work. So let's just say I did want to go, and I really like this green shadow here. But on night mode, if we go on there, it's just a bit too harsh. I want to make that a lighter gray color. What I can do is with this CSS class selected, I could go down to CSS here, and I can create a CSS rule that only applies to dark mode. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, let's just go to the front end of our website, and I'm gonna right click and inspect element. And we can see here on the HTML element, it has color scheme equals light. And when we apply dark mode, it changes to dark. And that also happens with your operating system. So if I go up to here and I go to system preferences and I go dark mode here. So if I change this to dark, look what happens here. If I go dark, that changes to dark. So we can target that in our CSS. So if I undo that and I go back to here where we're editing the CSS class for the bubble, I can do HTML and then color scheme equals dark. And now that we're targeting dark mode here, we need to target this specific item, which we can use the root feature inside of Bricks Builder, which at runtime, it just gets whatever this is here. So this CSS class here, and it will replace the word root with this CSS class. I'll show you what that does in a second. So now only in dark mode for this current CSS class, we will change the box shadow. So box shadow. And I don't think you can change just the box shadow color, but let's just say 0050 pixels red. Okay, cool. So that's doing it. So we could just change this. If we're going to go down the route of only using the properties of the OxyProps framework, which I'd recommend, we're going to use an OxyProps CSS custom property. So we do var like that, and then they always start with --o like that, and then we select a color. So I could do surface 1 or 4. Surface 4 is going to give us that light gray color there. So if I go save, now if I go to the front end and reload the page and right click and inspect element, and we have a look at that bubble here, I'll just move myself over. So here for this CSS class, it's added all of those properties that we added inside of OxyProps. So the padding top, right, bottom, left, these are all custom properties from the CSS framework of OxyProps. Now, if I go to select dark mode up here, it's going to change this color scheme to dark, and then that custom box shadow color should apply. So I'll go dark, and you can see now it's changed there. So this changed to dark, and then on here, it's gone ahead and got the custom CSS that we added before. And then where we had the word root, it's replaced root with our CSS class wage hero header bubble, which again, wage hero header bubble. So remember at runtime, it goes this, and then root replaces with that. So that's what we're seeing there. And then our box shadow of surface 4 is applying, which is this color here. So that's how you can take the dark mode and customize it a little bit more to how you need it to work. So that's a little insight into how dark mode works inside of OxyProps. But yeah, it sort of just works out of the box, and you can test how it looks by clicking on this up there. A fail safe is, let's just say we go on this heading and I select my heading class here, and we go, and just for this heading, I want to make it a color. So I'll go to where are we going? Typography, and then under here, remember that these top two change their values between light and dark mode. The ones under it don't. So if I choose something like this, for example, remember it's not going to change its colors. It looks good there, but then on dark mode, if we go light and dark, it's a little bit hard to read there. So it's really up to you. If we choose that there, again, that's not going to change. Toggle between, okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. That should be good to use. Most of the time, I'm just choosing one of the ones from up here because it will change. So the accent color there, when it changes to dark mode, it actually does change its value. But if we were to change this to something like our brand hover color, this will change its value between light and dark mode. So see how it's changing? So the lighter, it's lighter, and the darker, it's darker. But yeah, you can test it all from within there. That's sort of an insight on how it works. So I hope that was helpful. Omed, so coming down, incredible, thank you. Thank you for leaving your comment. Moving down, the creator of FlyingPress. And if we open up this post here, I'll show you guys. So if you go to my YouTube, so if we go to YouTube and go to community, and go down a little bit, I'm starting to post directly to my YouTube channel, just things throughout the week that I don't have time to make a whole separate video on, but I think are very valuable, that can be explained well using text and some images. And I did one recently about how I sped up my Bricks Builder website. Part of that process was leaving WP Rocket and swapping my caching plugin over to one called FlyingPress. So back here, Joe, I hope that's how you pronounce it, the creator of FlyingPress, and yeah, so firstly, I love your plugin. It just works out of the box. Every issue that I was having with WP Rocket is solved by FlyingPress. So thank you for making such a simple plugin that it really just works. Like for example, if I was using WP Rocket and I have Cloudflare APO, every time I'd go up to clear the WP Rocket cache, it'd give me a 502 error. And on the documentation for WP Rocket, it's a known error, but it's just like, I don't know, why did it have to be an error sort of thing? Like FlyingPress come up here. If I just want to clear this cache, I just do it here. It seems to be an Ajax cache refresh, and it just works. So the remove unused CSS feature as well just worked so fast. And the reason that I chose FlyingPress is because I was reading a lot of blog posts about alternatives to WP Rocket, and people were continuously leading me into your Facebook group, and I went in there and it was all just like positive experiences with the plugin. You're very hands-on and communicative with your community, very active in there, and that was what put me over the edge into purchasing it, just your involvement and in the plugin and just how active you are in developing it. So yeah, that's basically what I wanted to say here. Thank you for making such a great plugin, and I look forward to the updates. And there's some updates today that I need to go through, which I'm really excited to test. So coming down here, so the next one, if you are using FlyingPress, why not use Flying CDN? Flying CDN is the same as Bunny CDN with Optimizer, but costs $3 per 100 gigabytes. So to give you guys an idea of what this question means, if we go to the FlyingPress website, which is here, and again, if you guys want to check out FlyingPress, there will be an affiliate link in the description of today's video. I've cut out all my affiliate links down to 5 links in every video, and these are the 5 software that I think every website would benefit from with WordPress. So you have FlyingPress for caching, there's your CRM, which is FunnelKit automations, FunnelKit, which is your upsells, downsells, and customizing or building your opt-in pages. They're so necessary to building a business. And then Bricks Builder. I think that's the only other one that I have in there, which is your page builder. They're the 5 plugins that I think every website needs to have. So FlyingPress is your caching plugin. And the question is, why aren't you using Flying CDN? So if we go to pricing, so here you can get the caching plugin, which would be like your WP Rocket. Just made myself bigger. But if you come down here, you can also activate their Flying CDN add-on. So inside, when you log into your account inside of FlyingPress, after purchasing the plugin for say $60 a year, you download that, install it like WP Rocket. That's your caching plugin. But then there's another tab under your account. Maybe I'll log into mine. So here I am. So you can see I have my subscriptions, my sites that I've activated it on. Then I have my Flying CDN here. So I could add some credit into here, and then the WordPress plugin will just work with Flying CDN. But what that's doing behind the CDN is Flying CDN is leveraging the infrastructure of Bunny CDN. So it's just wherever Bunny CDN would push your stuff to, FlyingPress is just leveraging that. It's like white labeling the network, the infrastructure. So here you can see it's very simple. So if you want to go the very easy route, you could buy FlyingPress, log in here, add some credit here, and then it will just work out of the box. You don't have to do anything, and all your images, CSS and JavaScript, whatever you want, is pushed globally, and your website will load faster. It just works. The reason that I didn't activate it here, and I'm just using the caching plugin for FlyingPress, but then I went ahead and signed up to Bunny CDN directly and activated it there, is that I just feel like I have more control. It was really just, I wanted to understand where my data was getting pushed to, how much bandwidth I was using, and so on. So for example, I'm logged into Bunny CDN here, and I can see that, I guess this is for this month, I've sent, it's used within the CDN, people have downloaded my data, and it's been 16.19 gigabytes of data downloaded through the CDN. So that'd be people going to my blog post and downloading the images to read my blog post. That's going to be downloaded from the CDN. Request serves, the cache hit rate, and so on. So, this data, these stats that I get in here, I can really only get from Bunny CDN directly, and I like to know that. So, for example, this cache hit rate of 38.54%, down 21%, it's maybe something that I want to look at, like why is that down a little bit? But I don't know if I would get that data from Flying CDN directly. Maybe I'm wrong there. definitely let me know in the comments below. But I feel like I'm just in more control. Also, if I go into something like CDN and I go into here, I could go to, I think it's pricing and routing, and I can see all the locations around the world that I'm pushing that data to, or it's getting stored in. So I just like that I have more control. The other thing is that when I'm going out and I'm doing blog posts or embedding videos across my website, I use Bunny Stream. So I'll come to Bunny Stream and I'll go into this here. And then I'll upload a video here. So let's just say bricks form data to FunnelKit. I ended a blog post with this video where I explained just the end result of the blog post. So I would go into here, upload the video, and then I just get the embed code and I just copy it from here, paste it in there. So I'm already logging in here to upload videos to then embed it in my blog post. And so I'm in here and I was in the interface anyway. I get more data from here. It just made more sense to go ahead and go down that route. So that's the answer to that question there. But I guess you're saying that it works out cheaper. So I don't know, maybe it's scale. Maybe I find that the data isn't something I check that often. Maybe I don't end up using Bunny Stream all that often, and maybe this would work out cheaper. But yeah, at this point in time, they're the reasons that I went down that route. So coming down to this comment here, we might look to wrap it up after these next couple of comments. So this is from John, and it's in relation to me removing Fluent Forms from my website and rebuilding all my forms on my website, including my contact form, using the Bricks Builder form element. So everything's built with Bricks. The problem with that is that Bricks doesn't save your form entries to your database in WordPress. And it is a concern. So John has that concern. He says, going back to Divi form doesn't save form submissions. What happens if the email contact notification fails? I've had this happen in Fluent Forms. This is definitely something that I've thought about, and it's definitely something that that is worth considering. Now, if we do head on over to the Bricks idea board under the idea board tab, and we sort by most popular, you can see the most popular idea here is to save form submissions to the database. 9,000 upvotes. Now, the ideas board, these are just things that the community are voting on. The roadmap is what's in the works. So planned, up next, and in progress. So it's not being worked on right now, but it looks like the community really wants it. I am in the same boat. Like I also would really like to see that my stuff is in the database, because I agree. Like if something happened to your SMTP and it didn't send to you, yeah, it is a problem. So with that said, fully agree with what you're saying there, and hopefully they do work on that sometime soon. Now, one thing that you can do, and I'm going to do a video on that. I want to write a blog post to document how to work it out and stuff like that, and then make a video showing people how to do it and give people the code, is that you could save form entries to a post type in WordPress. I don't think that would be hard to do, and I think I should get that out in the next week or two. But yeah, definitely saving it to a post type would be a pretty good middle ground between now and them implementing it as native feature. So definitely a good question there. Okay, coming down, Farhan. Thank you, loved it. Glad you liked that video. I've noticed you comment a couple of times, so I really appreciate you commenting on my videos. I always appreciate seeing a comment from you. Glad I found you. Thank you, Andrew. Could you do a video on how to create a newsletter double opt-in form? Definitely. It's going to be one of my next videos or blog posts I'm going to be releasing. Definitely going to get to that. We'll end with this one, Nima. So I'm just wondering why I build a contact page in Gutenberg and not Bricks Builder itself for this video here, where I showed people how to create a form in Bricks Builder and add it in Gutenberg. So coming back to my website, this is what my contact page looks like. And you can see it's just one column, and then it has this there. So the question is, if I go edit page, you can see that I've wrote the content inside of Gutenberg, and then I have a shortcode here that is outputting a Bricks template, and inside that template is my contact form here that I built in Bricks Builder. So the question is, why didn't I just build this entire page using Bricks Builder versus building it with Gutenberg and then adding the form using a shortcode here? And the reason is that I prefer to write most of the content inside of Gutenberg. Like, the way that my brain works is I like to start writing a page, focus on the content, and just fill one column here. That's why every page pretty much on my website is just one column. Like, if we go, this is my contact page here. If we go to my blog page and click into a blog post, and go down, it's just one column. I just like not having to fill the page, like to go and create a contact page inside a bricks builder. You know, maybe if I created this layout, it would be over here, and then I have space over here. I'm like, okay, I spend twice as long just going, what can I add to the page to fill that place? Where if everywhere in my website is using Gutenberg and it's laid out in one column like this, I can just go page, add new page, come into here, and I'm just typing. And I'm writing a lot of blog posts, so I'm very familiar with writing inside of Gutenberg. So that'd be the main reason. It's just like I'm spending more time in Gutenberg because I'm writing more blog posts. And it's just a lot easier for me to work inside of Gutenberg like this. Because I find that when I'm designing using Bricks Builder, I am trying to over-design the page. And sometimes it doesn't need to be designed. It just needs to be simple like that. My homepage would be an example of where I wouldn't use Gutenberg and I would use Bricks Builder because I want to design it. So yeah, most of my pages are just built with Gutenberg. They're just one column. And it's just because I'm writing so much content inside of Gutenberg, I'm just comfortable. Another reason is that I have custom blocks that I've built using for Bricks Builder. So for example, I have pros and cons. So if I go, oh my God, pros and cons here, it's a custom block. So if I click into that block, so here, if I was to go and edit that block and give it a lead in, so this is like some text there, and then I have a pro here. So, you know, Bricks Builder, it's super fast. And then I go through why it's a pro, and then a con, can't stop using it. I'm just joking, but, and then like that. If I update that, then on my contact page, if I reload it, and go down a little bit, now I have my pros and cons list. And the styling here, because it's in Gutenberg, which is what my blog posts use, it's all consistent. So it would also be that reason. It just keeps my content across my pages looking consistent and matching all my blog posts, because most people are going to land on a blog post, come from like Google searching, or my YouTube videos land on a blog post. They're used to seeing how my website looks in a blog post and the styling of those elements. And then when they click into a page that is also built using Gutenberg, where I've used those same blocks, it just makes it a little bit more consistent. And then when I do want to put in the extra effort and design a page that needs designing, like a homepage, I'll use Bricks Builder. But to be honest, most of my pages on my website are using Gutenberg, again, just because I'm using it. And I do have those custom blocks. Back in here, some other custom blocks that I use is like an inline notice. So I'll go notice and add that there. And then here I'll go test noticed, bit of text there. Another one I have is my table of contents. So table of contents like that. So I've just put in a lot of work to build things that are specific to my business that I will use not in my blog posts, but across other pages as well. And of course, they're blocks there in Gutenberg. So yeah, that's just sort of why I'm using Gutenberg for a lot of my pages there. And that's why I went ahead and used it for my contact page here. And then why did I build the form using Bricks Builder? It's because Bricks Builder has a really good form builder. So that's sort of the reasoning behind that. And we're going to end that there. So definitely let me know in the comments below if you just found this ad hoc, all over the place, answering questions, things useful. If you have any feedback, definitely let me know. Maybe when I'm editing this, I might split it out to its own separate video. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the content in this video, and I'll see you in one of these next ones.